Welcome to First Unitarian Church of Orlando. I am Sarah Gray, a member of this congregation who serves on the worship team. With me in today's service are Reverend Margalie Belizaire, our Director of Lifespan Religious Enrichment, Judith Stein-Farrall, Director of Music, Aubrey Connelly-Candelario, accompanist Daniela Monzon-Villegas, the cellist choir, the Allen family, and board member Greg Buckingham. And let's not forget our teams of wonderful people in the background working diligently to ensure we come together this morning. So thank you. Families, we are happy to have you here. Today is an intergenerational service, so the children and youth will be staying with us throughout the service. We greet you this morning, old friends and new ones, as we explore our Unitarian Universalist faith, which draws us into a community of justice seekers with a commitment to lifelong spiritual growth and compassionate service to the community. As a Unitarian Universalist congregation, we are a non-creedal community that does not subscribe to a specific set of beliefs. We live by a covenant that encourages ethical behavior, affirms democracy, celebrates the worth of each individual, and unites us in a search for truth and meaning. Whether today is your first or your 1,000th Sunday in our midst, you are welcome here. Whoever you are, whoever you love, you are welcome here. In this community, your whole self is welcome. We welcome your race, national origin, immigration status, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. We welcome you. For more information about our congregation and announcements, go to orlandouu.org or email info@orlandouu.org. We have two special announcements today. Next week, on June 2nd, following worship service at 12 p.m., we will hold another Article 2 discussion in Classroom A. June 9th is our volunteer appreciation picnic, I mixed up some words there. Appreciation service, which will be followed by our church picnic. So please come for fellowship and food. I understand there will be pie. Our outgoing board president, Paul, is excited about grilling for you. And yes, I do mean excited. As he noted, it is his love language. And we will be announcing our Volunteer of the Year during the service, so you don't want to miss this. All other announcements are on slides before and after the service, have links in the weekly update, or are on our website. The order of service can be accessed via the QR code up on the screen right now. Please note that a link to the weekly update is at the bottom of the order of service, so please click on it to view what's going on at 1U. Thanks again for being here in person and online today. If you're joining us online, be sure to have flowers nearby for the flower communion if that's possible for you. If you're joining us in person and have not had a chance to place your flowers up at one of the vases on our altar, please bring them up at this time.
Good morning. We are most of the Allen family. I'm Reverend Kirsten, this is Sydney and Esme, and my wife Jennifer, who's home sleeping after a night shift.
Please join me in saying the word for lighting our chalice. In the light of truth and the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share.
Please rise in body or spirit to sing our opening hymn, number 361, Enter, Rejoice, and Come In.
I don't know what they mean by will be. It seems like it already is. A joyful day. That's all I will do. I won't sing any more than that. It is especially wonderful to be here with you this morning for our Flower Communion service. You know, we Unitarian Universalists do not have many rituals, which is why the ones that we partake in are so much more meaningful to us. And the Flower Communion is one that we have been engaging for over 100 years. And some of you are visiting us for the first time today. Others might not have known about today's special service. Consequently, you might not have brought flowers with you. But as you can see, we have plenty. So rest assured, everyone is welcome to participate in this ritual. I now call us to worship with the words of Reverend Sarah Movius Shore. These flowers we see before us, they come in many shades and colors. They come in many sizes and shapes. They carry different scents. Some have no scent at all. Yet, all were created by the same miracle, the miracle that these blossoms grow every year out of the divine mixing of water, soil, and sunshine. Our lives are miracles as well. Despite our trials and disappointments, people come every year to celebrate Flower Communion, to be reminded that all of us have value and all of us have a place in the beauty of the world. To be reminded that where you came from is not as important as the fact that you are here now. To be reminded that all are welcome and all may receive at the communion table of this church. Come be a part of something greater than ourselves. So come, beloveds, let's celebrate our bond as we hold a Flower Communion service today. And let's greet one another joyfully. Come on. ago today, Marnie was being ordained by the Mount Vernon Unitarian Church in Alexandria, Virginia. As those of you who have been a part of this church community for a while now, you know, for a while, Marnie was always known during her 20-year ministry here simply as Marnie. And she finds it somewhat awkward to have people who've known her for many years as Marnie now calling her Reverend Marnie. This is perhaps a byproduct of my own preference to be called Reverend Margalie. As a fairly new minister, nowhere near Marnie's 50 years, and one who holds a Black identity, I find it necessary to be referred to as Reverend. So if this is still unclear for you as to my reasons, let's have a private chat. But at this moment, this is about Marnie. This summer, the Unitarian Universalist Ministers Association is honoring Marnie along with 8 other UU ministers who have been in full fellowship with the UUA for 50 years. What a commitment and dedication to our faith tradition. Thank you, Marnie, for paving the way for the women ministers who followed you and the others. Marnie has her own way of honoring her 50 years of ministry and wants us here at 1U to be a part of it. She would like to share a small ritual with an explanation and an ask.
So this is my formal Black ministerial robe. And when I am here or asked to do something here as Minister Emerita, I will wear a robe and a stole. Not this robe. I'm really excited, but I'm going to bequeath it to one of Margalie's most beloved colleagues. However, when I'm just here, and I'll be Reverend Marnie, I'm kind of nervous, almost as nervous as I was being ordained.
Wow,
but
that's wonderful.
I'm not sure it will close because if any of you have seen me, I usually step in and out of it. So I've never, closed it.
Doesn't it help?
Oh, seriously.
Yay, okay.
So when I'm here worshiping or just enjoying participation in this beloved community, I'm just Marnie. And I will do my very best to be a conscious elder.
Elder is a verb more than a noun, a dynamic process that reveals the ever-present and visible urge toward more awareness of self-actualization in the human soul. Eldering is the same as evolving, an inner yearning which once recognized and directed is purposeful and joyful.
I am choosing conscious elderhood. During my ordination ceremony, I said, I stand before you as seeker, celebrant, servant, and sower. I claim my elderhood in the same spirit, with purpose, meaning, passion, and service. I will continue growing with my soul's core purpose, which is to connect threads in the holy interdependent web. I will serve as a frequency holder, a place of calm in the midst of the gathering storm around us. May I see the meaning in the gifts the years have given and harvest abundantly and share the seeds of that harvest. May I become a mirror into which others can peer and view reflections of the divine in themselves. May I walk this way with wisdom and joy and reverence. And so I have asked our wonderful and beloved Reverend Margalie for a blessing to honor these 50 years and my request to move formally to elderhood.
Beloved One U community, let us honor and celebrate the transition of this cherished minister into the sacred role of elder. For 50 years, Marnie, you have walked the path of service in our faith tradition, guiding with wisdom, compassion, and love. As you step into this new chapter, may you be blessed with the serenity of a well-lived life, the joy of cherished memories, and the peace of a heart fulfilled. May your days be filled with the same light you have so generously shared as a minister, and may your wisdom continue to illuminate your path as an elder. In this moment of transformation, we recognize the depth of your journey and the breadth of your impact. With gratitude, we release you from the duties of ministry and embrace you as our honored elder, a beacon of grace and experience. May the spirit of love surround you, the light of truth guide you, and the warmth of community sustain you. Be blessed. Thank you. I love rituals, even though a little bit earlier I told you all, we're not big on them. I am, you may have noticed.
I disagree that we have lots of rituals, but I'm going to have to sit down and write them out.
Go ahead.
So we are going to tell the story of Norbert's Lasting Idea by Laurel Whitehouse. Norbert Čapek was born over 150 years ago in June of 1870. He grew up in troubled times in Europe during World War I. His safety was threatened because he spoke out against those who tried to restrict freedom of worship. So Norbert and his wife came to America, where Norbert discovered Unitarian Universalism and became a Unitarian minister. Yay! Once the war ended, Reverend Norbert wanted to return to share his love of Unitarianism with the people of his country, which was now the newly created country of Czechoslovakia. He returned to the city of Prague in 1921 and started a brand new church, which grew steadily as more and more people came to listen to Reverend Norbert's sermons.
The war had left many miseries and a hard life for the people of Prague. Families had been broken up, businesses had been ruined, and there were many of his congregants didn't have enough money to meet their needs. Unitarianism was new to Czechoslovakia, and the worship service was unlike ours today. There were no stories or music, and the sermons were very, very, very long. The church building was plain and cold in the bitter winters. Still, people came because they were eager for worship, spirituality, connection, and hope as they tried to rebuild their lives.
Reverend Norbert knew that the people who came to hear his sermons were learning about Unitarianism and building a new faith together. But he also knew that there continued to be daily struggles 5 years after the war. He knew the weariness of the troubles and sadness they carried and how his people yearned for a sense of connection and possibility. this was a world that informed Reverend Norbert. The next part of this story is how he came up with this idea. Now, this next part is
a bit of imagining.
I'm sorry, I'm reading imaging, and I'm like, imagining on the light bulb moment that Reverend Norbert had.
So he went for a walk along the river Vltava, which winds through Prague, and as he slowly crossed one of the many bridges over the river, he began to think about how to lift the spirits of his congregation. He wanted to help them have hope. Reverend Norbert saw a flower growing in the bare and scuffed earth near the edge of the river. The beauty and bravery of the little bloom lifted his spirit. He wanted to share that uplifted feeling with his congregation. But how? His church had no altar flowers or gardens around it.
Reverend Norbert thought and thought as he walked, but he just didn't have any ideas about how to share the feeling that that flower had given him. He came to a small child from his congregation who smiled up at him and held out a flower for him to take. Reverend Norbert smiled back with a happy heart and realized in that moment how to spread the warm feeling with his church members.
It was spring, and there were flowers growing everywhere in Prague, in the parks, along the river, even in the rubble still left from the war. Reverend Norbert spread the word to his congregation to bring a flower to the worship service that next Sunday. Everyone did show up with a flower. There were stems of white daisy, like chamomile, yellow, many-petaled leopard's bane, the bright pink rockets of cyclamen. Interesting flower here, yep. Plump yellow clusters of primroses, fuzzy pink spires of hens and chicks, deep blue gentians, pinky purple pasque flower. Boy, I don't know flowers, I'm realizing. And of course, many roses, which are the national flower of Czechoslovakia.
So on June 4th, 1923, that plain church was bursting with colorful clusters of flowers like ours here today. Each uniquely beautiful, short, tall, spiky, round, scented, and vibrant, and uniquely beautiful faces of the congregants, like your own beautiful faces today. They were also bursting with smiles of warmth and hope as they felt the powerful forces of growth and possibility in nature and in each other. Reverend Norbert Chapek called that feeling the hidden cry for harmony with the infinite that each person feels inside. At the end of that service that day, when they chose a flower to take home, those seeds of hope and harmony and fellowship went with them and began to grow their hearts and spirits.
Good morning. I am Greg Buckingham, a member of the Board of Trustees. We invite you now into the practice of generosity. It is one of our spiritual values which sustains the life and ministries of the church community. Let us be grateful for the opportunity to give, for it is a privilege to be able to do so. And let us be grateful for our needs, for they give us the opportunity to practice receiving. Our Share the Plate recipient for May is the Mental Health Association of Central Florida. This month, as we did in March and April, 50% of each offering will be donated in support of our Share the Plate partner on a trial basis until the end of the month. The offering will now be collected. Note that you can also give using the online link. Let us joyfully receive what is offered here today in the spirit of gratitude and fellowship.
Beloveds, this is the time we set aside for deep sharing of our hearts and for prayer and meditation. If you have a sorrow that you need witnessed or help with, or a joy you wish to share, please contribute to our collective sharing of joys and sorrows to be read each Sunday during service. You can do so by sending us an email during the week at joysandsorrows@orlandouu.org. Or if you are attending in person, you can fill out a card at the welcome table, and the greeters are always very good at getting them to us to share here. Usually today we have our candle lighting ritual, but since we are participating in the flower ritual, we will forego of that today, and this is the ritual we'll participate in today. So bring your joys, bring your sadness, come just as you are, as we come together to create sacred space. All of you, your whole self is welcome in this space. The flowers, thank you, Linda. To get us started, Linda gathered a whole bunch of flowers for us. I'm sure she didn't go door to door and collect flowers, but she made sure we had the flowers, the table all set up for us, and then everyone else who brought flowers added to it. So that's how we came to have this beautiful ritual table here today. And we have a couple of joys and sorrows to share here. We have one from Jeannie Carter. As you may remember, she had foot surgery. I visited with her last week, and she also sent a note to say the surgery went really well. She's feeling very good, recovering at home, and wanted to say thank you for the meals and the kind wishes. So, yeah, and she looks really good, and the only thing is, she says she's bored lying on her back all day. And, you know, I have a note here to share some information on Linnea, but I think, you know, seeing her is much better than reading the note. But as some of you may have known, Linnea was in the hospital last week due to 2 aneurysms, and so glad that you're here. You both are here today and joining us. So, I was supposed to tell you all when I visited that they were feeling great and felt really loved by this congregation. So, yep. And we have a joy from Reverend Kathy says this week is the 25th anniversary of her ordination at the Unitarian Universalist, I thought you had your congregation here, but to the Unitarian Universalist ministry. So Reverend Kathy is over there, yeah. And we have news from longtime member Sherry Rondi, who says that her condition seriously deteriorated in April, and add that she was compelled to quit her job, and her daughter Jennifer flew down and they drove back to Illinois together. So she said that they're getting by as best as they can. She said, thank God I have my faith. And then she says, I think, true Unitarian, my mind and such wonderful friends and family. She says, I am blessed. And just for clarification, or to just let those who didn't know, Sherry has a terminal medical diagnosis. She would love to get cards from her friends here at the church. And as you may have noticed here, which I missed when I first looked at this, she is now in Illinois with her daughter. So you can get her address, she says, from the caring team and from Amy at the office. And I'm looking at a caring team member right there, Cindy. You can see Cindy Schleier. Patty, the co-lead, might be here somewhere, but see Cindy for Sherry's address. So bring your joys and your sorrows as we come together. Come just as you are. And for all the joys and all the sorrows from this community that were held close to the heart, and as well for those who were shared, let us pray, let us celebrate, and let's send one another healing energy. And as Judith and I noted in the telling of the flower communion story, it was something good that came out of the devastation of war. So it is fitting that we take time in our flower communion service to honor veterans, as tomorrow's Memorial Day, the day we're celebrating as Memorial Day. So our prayer today is in remembrance of veterans. I ask you to center yourself and put your feet as flat to the floor as you are willing and able. Settle in place. Take a few deep breaths. And after the prayer, we will observe a moment of silence. Called by loss, called by peace. We come this day called by war, by the suffering we inflict and endure, when minds across borders fail to reason and compromise. We come this day called by loss, the deaths of those who served in our name, those whose lives end before their natural course and service to a cause greater than their own. We come this day called by hope. Hope that we will, in some season, finally surrender our swords for plowshares. And we come this day called by peace. May we hear its song. May we proclaim its promise. May our remembrance today renew our struggle. We can never stay or rest. So the time for flower communion ritual has arrived. And once again, thank you, Linda, for getting us started on this, getting our flower table started. In the flower communion ceremony, the significance of bringing and placing your own flower in the vase is that it is your own free will that you join with the flowers of this faith tradition. The vase that contained all the flowers is a symbol of our united fellowship, even with our different beliefs. By exchanging flowers, we show willingly, we are showing that we are willingly wanting to walk together and search for truth, disregarding all that might divide us. Each person takes home a flower brought by someone else, thus symbolizing our shared celebration of community. This communion of sharing is essential to a free people of a free religion, people who have chosen to journey together regardless of color, national origin, gender identity, sexual orientation, age, physical or mental abilities, economic status, or religious background. For our virtual, or for those attending online, I invite you to gaze upon the flower or flowers you may have before you. Do so quietly, reverently, with a sense of how important it is to address our world and other persons with gentleness, justice, and love. Then touch your flower as you do so, speak the name of a person who is dear to you or place their name in the chat. Each blossom represents a person's unique humanity and therefore deserves your kind touch. Quietly share now in the Unitarian Universalist ritual of human oneness and love. And should you not have flowers nearby, still quietly reflect on how important it is to address our world and others with gentleness, justice, and love. And for those in person, we ask you to come forward through the middle aisles and exit on the sides. And I ask that each of you in turn approach the communion vase reverently with a sense of how important it is to address the world with justice, love, and gentleness. So come forward as you are willing. And once everyone in the sanctuary have taken a flower and returned to their seats, I will offer a blessing, a community prayer. So come forward through the middle and out through the side. I will now bless the flowers with the very prayer that Chopak used. As a note, some of the words have been changed to just to match today's language and recognition of genders and so on. So, in the name of Providence, which implants in the seed of the future of the tree and in the hearts of all the longing for people living in human love, in the name of the highest, in whom we moved and who makes the parents and siblings what they are, in the name of sages and great religious leaders who sacrificed their lives to hasten the coming of peace and justice, let us renew our resolution sincerely to be real siblings, regardless of any kind of bar which estranges one from another. In this holy resolution, may we be strengthened, knowing that we are God's family, that one Spirit, the Spirit of love, unites us. And may we endeavor for a more perfect and more joyful life. Amen. And before we go to our hymn, I just want to remind you, as we did last year, be mindful about what you do with your flower once you leave here. So maybe you can sort a collection of these, right? So just be mindful and not just toss it aside. And now please rise and body your spirit and join me in singing our closing hymn, number 352, Find a Stillness. Death, Dr. Chopak wrote this prayer reflecting on his own life and the state of his spirit. We will use it today as our closing words. May you find resonance in it. It is worthwhile to live and fight courageously for sacred ideals. Or blow ye evil winds into my body's fire. My soul you'll never unravel. Even though disappointed 1,000 times or fallen in the fight and everything would seem worthless, I have lived amidst eternity. Be grateful, my soul. My life was worth living. He who pressed from all sides but who remained victorious in spirit, is welcome into the choir of heroes. He who overcame the fetters, giving wing to the mind, is entering into the golden age of the victorious. So he ended. Beloveds, worship has ended, and now the service truly begins. So I have two call to actions for you today. One is, please sign up to offer a lesson to our children this summer, and you may see Judith, all right, Director of Lyceum Religious Education. The other one is that I've come to learn that, and maybe some of you knew this already, I was going to plan an interfaith service for June 12th, Paul's Remembrance, only to learn that there is such a thing that happens already every year. Some of you may have known that, but I don't think we knew it as a community here. So instead of having one that would take people away from that, between now and June 12th, we'll be encouraging you to attend that, and spoke with Lisa Marie, and who's over there, and she's going to be working on trying to organize us to get here as a group for those who are interested, and we go together. So you'll be hearing more about that. So start thinking about it now. June 12th, an interfaith remembrance service that we would like to attend together as a congregation for those who are willing and able. So those are the two asks. And now, to extinguish this chalice. And Kirsten's like, why are you looking at me for?
I'm missing my partners, so I'm a little thrown off here. Please say these words with me as we extinguish our chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Yeah.